Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight, and my guest is Jonestown Films. He's a director, producer, writer, Tory Jones. How's it going, Tory?
Good, man. How are you?
Hey, thank you for coming on. It's good talking to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, no problem. Let's talk about your new film. It's going to be coming out soon. The Boy Below.
Yeah, The Boy from Below is our next film we're going to be working on. It's actually a reintroduction, reimagining, reboot. Not really a remake, but it's meant to reintroduce the horror audience to my character, the Wicked One, which is something that we created back in 2014, so 9 years ago. And this character is still, to this day, what I'm most known for. I can't get out of that shadow, so that's still what I'm most known for to this day, all these years later.
So is Colin Miller going to come back and play the Wicked One?
So Jack Norman, who plays Colin Miller, yes, Jack is coming back to play Colin Miller.
Awesome. I liked him in The Wicked One and The Wicked Ones, and when I found out you were going to add him on The Boy from Below, I major geeked out because he's my favorite slasher of the Jonestown universe.
Yeah. So Jack actually played it in the first Wicked One movie, and then in Wicked Ones, he wasn't available to play it, so we recast for that. So this is actually, Jack is coming back to this character that he sort of established back in when we actually filmed the movie 2016. So it's been that long since Jack has played this character.
And another cool thing about the film too is the Vortex video. I would love to walk through the Vortex video and bring my childhood back, renting movies back from the 80s.
Yeah, you can come down the set and see the Vortex video set. That's going to be a huge set throughout this film. Production design wise, we're going to be building the entire exterior of the video store. We're going to be altering an existing building, adding some stuff to it, and then the inside we're going to be completely doing. If you know anything about like slashback video, that is a big inspiration. And then looking back to when I grew up, video stores, your mom and pop video stores, not really your big chain video stores like Blockbuster and stuff like that, but you're more of your mom and pop type vibes is what we're going for with Vortex Video, and it's going to be a huge part of it. I wanted to include the Wicked One, as I said, my most well-known character, and I wanted to make this a very personal film. So including those aspects that were informative of me loving the genre, loving horror, growing up on it, that was what completely influenced and informed my love for horror.
Oh, I'm excited. I am going to take your offer. I am definitely going to come down to set.
Yeah.
I want to walk through the video store, like memory lane.
Absolutely. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I can't wait. That was one of the cool things. I was like, so I can spend all this time, these weeks shooting this movie in a video store. So I can't bring video stores back, VHS stores back, but I can spend 3 weeks shooting a movie in one. So that's the closest I can get to it.
Is there going to be some classic VHS tapes in the store too?
Oh, it's all VHS. So this film actually is set in the 90s.
Nice.
Yeah, so going back in time, everything from our wardrobe, the VHSs, everything will be dated to that time. So I really wanted to get away from the social media era and the iPhones and all of that nonsense. I'm just ready to do something that doesn't include any of that. Because literally, if you can't survive a horror movie today with all of the technology we have, I feel like in those days, back in the early 90s, the 80s, and the 70s, it was more believable that you could find yourself in these situations in horror movies. And I think that's what made it scarier back then. And today, it's just like, come on. I can ping my iPhone and someone can be there to rescue me in no time. So that was a big decision is doing a film that doesn't take place current day. And I'll say this. So I wrestled with this decision to make this movie, a Wicked One movie. And I was really struggling with the villain, and I could not understand why. You know my films. I had no issues creating villains, but I was like, for whatever reason, am just struggling with this villain. And two people were really influential in me deciding to do this as a Wicked One movie. And I went to both of them and talked to them. One is Mike Levy from Fuzz on the Lens.
Love Mike Levy. Cool dude.
Yeah, Mike, who, is now a pretty well-made man and filmmaker thanks to the two Terrifier movies that his company and him and Jason and Steven, Fuzz on the Lens, with the Terrifier movies and stuff. They were in the first one and produced they may have produced the first one too. I don't know, but the second one, obviously, Terrifier 2, has blown up, crossed over into mainstream pop culture. I go to Mike and Fuzz on the Lens were actually associate producers on the original Wicked One movie.
I did not know that. That's good to know. I didn't know that. So, are they also part of The Boy from Below as well? Are they producing it, or?
As of now, they're not involved in that aspect because their schedules are, as you can imagine, crazy now with Terrifier and Art the Clown. But I did go to Mike, and Mike was very, very helpful in the sense that Art the Clown was in other films before Terrifier.
Yeah, Hallow's Haunt,
All Hallows Eve movies, and some other stuff. So when Damien redid that movie and wanted to make the movie that horror fans would love, it's kind of the same thing, and kind of the same thing they just did with the Malum movie, a remake of The Last Shift. So it's sort of that same situation, wanting to be able to do a film that does this character justice that you couldn't do before. So he was like, man, I think this is a great idea. I think you should do it. I think there's something there with the character. I've always thought that. And I think that it has a ton of potential. And the other person that I went to was Andy Palmer, who distributed the first Wicked One movie and has directed the films The Funhouse Massacre, directed Camp Coldbrook with Danielle Harris and Chad Michael Murray. So he's a very established filmmaker in his own right. And he said the same thing. He was like, it's the highest, the most financially successful film we've ever released on our distribution label. It continues to make money to this day, and this was a film made for nothing. He said, if you do this the right way and you get the money you want to make it, you have so much potential with this character. So those guys who have, established themselves, I take what they say very, very seriously. And so both of those guys were big influences on deciding to do this and reintroduce this character.
That's pretty good, because I also like the character too, and I've seen the both, Wicked One films. I've seen all of your films, and I just love them. I really enjoy them. It just reminds me of renting a popcorn flick from a mom and pop video store. That's the vibe I got. But when I found out you were going to add Colin Miller to your latest film, I'm going to say this again. I geeked out because I like Colin Miller, man. I wish Colin Miller would hunt me down. Yeah. That, like I said, man, that film was made for $12,000, and to think that it went on and we had cosplayers dressing up as, that's awesome,
as this character, and nothing on the level of like Terrifier for sure, but still, for that time, it was just crazy. And then to have literally, I get tagged in artwork all the time.
Nice.
With the Wicked One. I'll get tagged in something on Instagram or something like that. And it's just it's crazy how far it's came.
So, will we ever see a Colin Miller action figure?
I'm working on it. Part of what will make this a success is the built-in branding and marketing.
Nice.
And trying to market this character. If we can do that, and we can find a way to get in touch with the right people and to get the right merch out there, I think we have it. It only improves our chances to make this thing more successful.
Yeah, and especially, I love the cast you've got, because I love how you use the same actors and actresses in your films. And then when you added Celeste Blandon, Spencer Martinez, and Harper, I love those ladies. They're great, young, talented actresses, and I love how you add them in your films.
Yeah, so my last film, Phantom Fun World, it was the first time I ever worked with Spencer and Celeste, and they were great. Probably my two favorite things about that film. And they're professional. They're easy to work with. They show up. They don't complain. So I got along great with those girls, and I knew that I would want to work with them again. Same thing with Harper. Harper's actually playing the same character that she played in Wicked One. She's playing Colin Miller's older sister, but it's a new version that we have not seen. It's a very different character than what was in that film and what we know about. If you know anything about these movies,
yes,
his sister and what she was. You know, we're expanding on that backstory a lot, but they're great. And but here's the thing: so they're playing very different characters than they played in the last film. Very different, and there's a lot of new people involved in this film too that I've not worked with. That I'm excited to work with. That are crazy good. I wish I could show everyone the audition videos, but I'm very excited about this cast, and we are talking. I'll say it that way.
Okay.
Talking to some very well-known horror people, very well-known genre people that if we could get them involved would be huge for this movie. So I actually received a phone call the other day from one of them. I was driving to Louisville.
Nice.
To get some mask molds of mine, and my phone rang, and they said, the person on the other line said, "Someone here wants to talk to you." And they handed the phone over, and it was Dee Wallace on the other line, and I literally was like, "Oh my God!" So nothing concrete yet, but there's a lot of awesome people that we are talking to about getting involved in this film.
Good. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to come down to the set, to get the little behind the scenes and maybe get some little interviews too.
Yeah, absolutely. And be in the film. There's a huge scene we're going to be shooting that will require all kinds of extras. So if you come on that day, you'll get to be in the film.
Oh, I definitely will do that, and afterwards get some interviews. I love it. Now let's talk about your one film. It's already been wrapped. I've been waiting for it to come on, the social platforms. Let's talk about Phantom Fun World. When is that coming out?
So there is a premiere date that has been locked. I am supposed to be able to announce it the 1st of June.
Nice.
I can't announce it until then, at the risk of losing this premiere. But I will say that it is at a very prominent horror convention, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I will say that after that, we will sort of start to focus on which distro route we want to take. But the premiere is set. I can tell you it's going to be in August. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, hey, in August. I know where it's at. I'm not going to say. I'm not. Yeah. But you know something? I'm going to be there at the red carpet. Oh, gosh. Yeah. That's going to be great. I know this, but my lips are sealed. So, yeah, I'm so looking forward to seeing that. I've been waiting for it. And then eventually, hopefully it comes out on physical media so I can have it for my library.
Yeah, absolutely. It for sure will. Um, we're looking at what is the best option for distro. What
Yeah.
was the best route to go with it? In a perfect world, I would love for it to get a limited theatrical release. I don't know if this is the one that will get the limited theatrical release.
Yeah.
That may be the Wicked one. But we'll or the Boy from Blow. Sorry, I got to remember what I'm. I got to remember. That's gonna be tough. But yeah, it'll be out regardless. All my films have been released and physical media and stuff. And my last film, They See You, is doing extremely well.
Good film.
I'm actually very shocked at how well that film's doing. So I'm excited for people to see it. And it was my most difficult movie to make.
Really?
Yeah, it was tough. So come to that premiere and that Q&A and we'll talk about it.
Oh, I definitely will, because I like that film. I love how you gave some nods to certain, Easter eggs too. I mean, you did a little nod to the Winchesters from Supernatural.
Oh, you're talking about They See. I'm talking about Phantom. Phantom was my.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm talking about, They See. But but Phantom, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to see it. I'm going to definitely get you guys. I'm going to interview. I'm going to get some interviews. I love supporting, indie horror and, my favorite indie directors.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so on Phantom Fun World, how'd you come up with that story, since it was your hardest to make? Was it like something from your childhood, like you went to like some kind of amusement park that freaked you out? Or how'd you come up with that story?
So honestly, the way that I came up with the story was... there is a movie that came out a couple of years back called Willy's Wonderland. Nicolas Cage is in it.
Love it.
And I was watching that, and then there was another short film that came out that is sort of in the same vein, but all of those are about animatronics, right? They're kind of in the same vein as the new Five Nights at Freddy's. And it's about animatronics, and that's in a supernatural aspect. My thought process was... what if there was this indoor fun park and you added a slasher element to it?
Ooh.
And maybe it was tied to the owner, and then he disappeared, and we find out that he's living in the walls of this indoor fun park. So that's really where it came from. And then just one of the big influences of it, as far as the look of the characters and the different mascots of the park, is Scooby-Doo. So you'll notice that when you see the film and you see some of the other... Nice. Because the Phantom is like the Mickey Mouse mascot, but there's all these other mascots. It's kind of like Disney,
okay,
right? Mickey Mouse is the main one,
yeah.
But you have all these others. Same thing at Phantom Fun World. The Phantom is the mascot, but... you have you have Chainsaw Charlie, and you have the Blue Ghost, and you have the Tiki Witch Doctor, and you have all these other characters in their own different areas. So what would be awesome is to somehow come into enough money to open a real Phantom Fun World indoor fun park arcade. That would be the dream, and I think that would be a huge thing that could blow up, but I'll have to win the lottery first.
Exactly.
Or have a film make a lot of money.
Yeah,
I could do that.
On Phantom Fun World, who created the killer's mask?
So the main killer's mask was created by a guy named Trevor Thompson, out of Louisville, Kentucky. Trevor just worked on the Malum movie.
Okay.
With Chaney, and that just came out, and he's worked on several different films. But he created that mask. He created several of the masks for They See You. And then some of the other masks were created by a company out of the UK called Rubber Gorilla Masks.
Okay.
Yep. Neil Harvey, he creates masks over there, and he created some masks for the film and allowed us to use them. So, but the main Phantom mask, I wish I had it with me. It's actually out in my van right now in a box. That was created by Trevor, and he did a great job.
Yeah, I think you were at a I don't know which convention you were at. You were at a convention, sharing Phantom Fun World when it was first coming out, and you had the main character walking around in the mask and costume.
Yeah, that was at. I had LC was dressed up as the Phantom at Days of the Dead Atlanta. That's what it was. He was down in. We were in Atlanta back in. It was actually this past January. And he was there as the character. Yeah.
So how did some of the Days of the Dead horror fans react to the killer from Phantom Fun World?
Pretty well, I think. I wasn't there he was at my booth and I was gone from my booth. I had went and talked to Mike Levy and a few of them. I was in there talking to them sometimes, and but from what I understand, he did it. We did it only one day, and he had a couple of people asking about it, which is always good. So I think it went over pretty well. That character has potential too. That. I think this first film will really establish the character, and then we'll see if it warrants, anything else moving forward in the Phantom Fun world. We'll see if that happens.
So I'm a fan of film composers and films, and you had a lot of great, scores in your films. Are you gonna use Frank Dormani again?
We're talking about it. Frank scored Phantom Fun World, and it's an amazing score, which people will hear when they see it. The theme for the Phantom, he nailed it. It's one of those things, like, to compare it to something, but Harry Manfredini, who did Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
When you hear that, it's Friday the 13th. Same thing with Halloween and John Carpenter. It's Halloween. It's the same thing. He did it, and I don't know how he did it, because I was like, oh man, creating this theme for this character is going to be tricky. But he did it, and it's a really good score. So we're talking about his involvement with The Boy from Below, and we'll see what happens for sure.
Yes, your Indiegogo campaign's going to launch in June 2nd. So so what are some of the perks if somebody's interested in supporting, The Boy from Below?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of cool perks that have been changed up, especially with this film and with the video store. Usually people offer, when they do Indiegogos, they'll offer like your face in the film, like on a missing person's poster or something like that. So what I'm going to offer people is you can be on the cover of your own VHS movie in the VHS store.
Nice.
And you can do that. You can be on a full-size poster of your own movie in the VHS store. You can help us by naming one of the thousands of VHSs that will be in the VHS store. You can name it. I don't care if you name it, I don't know, Nutsack. You can name it whatever. It could literally be a movie title. The cool thing about this is I can offer people who want to be in the film. There's so many movies within this movie, right? Because it deals with the video store and horror movies. So I can offer them to be in their own scenes of their own horror movie that's within the movie. So that's another cool way. I've talked to somebody about one cool character that they love, and that's going to be really fun. That's one of my most anticipated things, is because I can create all these crazy off-the-wall horror characters and have them in their own movies within the movie. So there's that. There's just so many different ways. There's bundle packs that are loaded with stuff. There's a Vortex video bundle pack. There's a Wicked, a Legacy bundle pack that has the Wicked One movies and then has this movie, and so much more original artwork with the character. So it's going to be crazy. So many cool ways to be involved that are different and unique for this film. And then, obviously, like I said, the goal is to make this as big as possible. So you can be a part of, if this blows up, if it's done correctly and it blows up and everyone's a team player, then you could potentially be a part of something really cool and really special.
That's pretty good, and I hope it does work out for you. And I know it's going to be a success for your Indiegogo campaign, because I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people are really looking forward to your latest film. I mean,
I hope so.
I mean, I've been talking about it all the time. I mean, I go to different conventions and film festivals, and I'm not trying to blow any sunshine up your ass. I always talk about you, going, you guys need to check out Tory Jones's indie horror films, and I always talk about the Wicked one all the time. I was like, you need to check this film out, and they're like, really? It's like, yes, go check it out, man.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. That's it's crazy, because that film was made for $12,000.
Yeah.
And it's made it's made that back times like 6.
Yeah.
It continues to make money. So it blows my mind. I got my last statement in a few months ago for the Wicked one. I literally was like, are you kidding me? Like, this should not be doing this right now. So that's why I think that this film can really, really blow up and be something big.
I think so, because right now there's a lot of indie films that are getting limited film, exposure. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about earlier, Terrifier 2. Now the original Terrifier's coming to a movie screen. Then you had Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. You had Skinnamarink. It seems like indie horror films are on fire right now. It's something different and original, and I think a lot of people want to see more of these like indie films on the screen.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like all of the films you mentioned, people make movies for a lot of different reasons. Mm-hmm. And I make movies because I love to make movies, but I also want to make money making movies.
You got to.
It's show business, not show art, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not somebody who wants to be like a festival darling and make movies that then go on the festival and then become like, ooh, I made an artsy film or whatever. That's great, and I love those movies, and I watch them. But if those movies you just mentioned, Terrifier, Winnie the Pooh, there's a Grinch one that was made, Skinnamarink that you mentioned. Yeah. There was one that came out actually during the pandemic called The Wretched.
Yeah.
And all of these films are making millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And they have literally several things in common. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not trying to be some big artsy, fartsy horror film. They're just downright nasty, in your face, gory, and I love it. I love it. That's what this film's going to be. I'm going to probably give my special effects guy, Cody, a nervous breakdown when he sees the things that I want to do. But I also think, too, that you have to, because how do you that is something that people are responding to. The horror audience is responding to. And I think that with that niche audience in indie horror, that you're showing, not that everybody's that way, but you're showing that niche can make serious money on a low budget, right? So you're telling me that a film made for $200,000 can make $15 million at the box office, and that's just from a theatrical, not counting streaming, not counting everything else. You're telling me that The Wretched, which was made for, I think, $66,000, made almost $5 million at the box office. So if I ever have that money, if I ever make that much money, if this is the film that does it, and I make that much money, I'll need to be on an IV drip for a week, and I will probably have to be hospitalized because I'll have a complete. But that, I think it proves that, that kind of work people want to see, and just got to bring it. So I've got to bring it with these special effects. They set the pace with Terrifier. People could say whatever they want. I saw people the other day knocking that movie, and I'm like, Knock it all you want. $15 million later, it really doesn't matter what you say. You paid to watch it. They collected the check, and it's just I'm gonna outdo the clown. That's the goal. That's the thing to say is like I'm gonna outdo. I have to outdo this damn clown.
Hey,
that's what I have to do.
You got this, brother. So where can everybody find you on social media and all of your movies and the Indiegogo campaign?
So the Indiegogo launches June 2nd, and I'll be posting links to that on all my social media. Official Tory Jones on Facebook and Instagram. I do not have Twitter. I do not tweet. I do not get wrapped up in that. Twitter is not a real place. It does not exist. So I do not get wrapped up in tweeting. But yeah, Official Tory Jones, Facebook, Instagram. Campaign launches Friday, June 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, you can check out all of our work is on Tubi for free, Vudu, and JonestownFilms.com.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, and I had a blast. It was always good talking to you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, and I will see you in August for sure at the place that must not be named yet.
Exactly. And everybody have a